I'd actually been wanting to create pebbles like this using masking fluid for a long time because I've got quite a collection of pebbles like these. I picked them up from North Devon. I think it's probably granite with quartz veining. Although this might be calcite, it just looks a bit different. That's the geology nerd coming through. So if I show you my tester version, I actually created two, this one and this one, using masking fluid on the background here and within the stones here, and then painting in the background. But I've decided for this video lesson we're going to go with this one. Just so that you are clear about where we're going to be putting the masking fluid, I'm just going to draw you a quick diagram of what I intend to do. I'm just going to draw some quick shapes. You might like to do this with a pencil when it comes to the actual watercolor paper, but I'm just doing this to demonstrate. So you can make your pebbles look a lot nicer than that. What we're going to do is apply masking fluid to the background here, where I'm using blue pen, and that will leave us with the white paper showing in these areas here, and in those areas we will be adding bluish beigey brown watercolor. And also, to create these veins, we're going to use either a dip pen or paper clip or something to create this veining, and that will mask off the white paper, and that is what is showing through so brilliantly in this example. That is a basic plan of what we're going to do. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to start by drawing, just using the faintest of pencil outlines, some really irregular pebble shapes. And they can be long and thin or very rounded. Also, I like to have a few coming off the page, just as irregular as you like, really. Maybe they look too much like potatoes. Okay, right, I'm going to stop faffing. Let's dip my paintbrush in there, get some of that excess washing up liquid off. Start on the background, trying to do this fairly accurately, but it doesn't matter if you go over some of the lines. I think it will probably add to that slightly irregular quality. Let's just fill this in as quickly as we can, and then I can move on to the veining where we can have a little bit more fun. I've picked up a bit too much there. I don't want it to be too blobby. Try to apply it relatively evenly. Again, I'm having to do this ever so fast because it's absolutely boiling in my living room. Okay, let's give this brush a wash immediately. Get my other instruments. These are the different tools that I am going to apply masking fluid to represent the veining of those pebbles. We've got here the dip pen, the silicone shaper, a busted brush where I've allowed the masking fluid to stick on it, toothbrush, and also a paper clip. I think it'd be interesting to see how the different lines look. First off, let's try this paper clip. And you can have this veining going in all different directions. Ooh, that's nice. And I do want different thicknesses, so I'm going to pick up something different in a little bit. Maybe going there. I don't know if that last one could be a little bit thicker. Yeah. One that does that too. I don't know if that's a bit obvious. Anyway, doesn't matter. We'll see. Now, let's use the silicone shaper. Like this. It looks like I can't hold very much on that. Maybe I'll go back to using the paper clip. I wanted something intersecting, maybe about there. Granite is actually igneous rock caused by lava many millions of years ago. It's formed granite under a lot of pressure. I'm sure you didn't need to know that, but you learn something new every day, don't you? Again, I want something intersecting here maybe. I think that'd be nice. And you can see that I'm using all the different tools here just to see. I'm always curious. Oh, I don't think that, I think this particular toothbrush is a little bit too pointy, so I'm just going to break a bit off. Yes, that's much better. Might be a bit thick, that one. Never mind, never mind. Oh, one thing I haven't used is the dip pen. Let's do a line that goes there and here. Some dip pen line here. When the granite is pushed up onto the surface, it gets weathered down. These were found on the beach, so it's been rounded off by the actions of the waves. Yeah, I don't want, oh, and down here, almost missed him. Back to the dip pen to do that and that. Let's let this dry now. Let's give this a little touch, make sure it's all dry. Some of these lines were just that little bit thicker, so I'm just satisfied that they are fully dry. As I mentioned before, these rocks are granite and they are varying shades of bluey brownish colour. I've got this leftover ultramarine, no it wasn't, indigo from the cup, so I'm going to mix up some of that, which is a good base, and to that I'm going to add a little bit of brown. Oh, that's already a good one. A tiny bit warmer, maybe a bit of maroon. Anyway, let's just start applying a bit. So I'm going to do this on random stones, and maybe this one here, and pick it up again, drop of Payne's grey now, and maybe this stone is going to be more blue, and I'm just going to vary it like that really. We do still have to think a little bit about contrast. I want the stones to be a little bit darker compared to that background, and whilst they're wet we can still play around with it. A bit of Payne's grey, maybe this one and side of this one. More of the, I think this is more of the burnt sienna. Some of these I think I am going to have to bump up the contrast, so it means adding a bit more concentrated pigment quickly before it starts drying too much in this very unseasonal heat wave in the UK. Oh, that one looks good, that one looks good. That's the kind of effect I'm after, because I really just want the pigments to mix on the page rather than create anything that's flat. Well, that's my intention anyway. I mean, you can do your pebbles however you want. Oh, that one could be nice. Very nice. Maybe a bit of that colour just coming into this pebble here and here. And you can see just here where it's overlapping. Don't worry too much about it, because you've masked that off. It's not going to show up. Well, in theory, you know, we got the great reveal afterwards. Just want to bump up a few parts with added pigment. Hold on, I'm just going to add a touch more blue there. I think that's it. Right, I'm going to stop faffing, otherwise I'm going to be overworking it. That's all we need to do. These stones have dried beautifully with a fair bit of texture, although I probably overworked some of them and the texture hasn't quite developed as I hoped, but never mind. Let's start taking it off. Oh, you can see the veins coming through. Wow. Oh my gosh, isn't that one really, really effective? This is really hard. Right, I think I found a technique that works well. It's little dabby movements. I would say take it off slowly, but for some reason this dabbing movement is a lot more effective at taking off the masking fluid. Whew, you can hear me puffing whilst doing this. Oh my gosh, I'm absolutely thrilled. You can leave your piece just as it is, but if you want to add just an extra layer of dimensionality, we can add a shadow in the same area for each stone. I'm just going to mix up a leftovers of what I've got here and a tiny bit of that maroon. Let's say the light is coming from up here, so all the shadows will hit it over here. So I'm just going to add a wash and just add it to the same side of the stone. I'm absolutely thrilled with how these pebbles have turned out. It's been such good fun. I would really love to do a variation where the stones are maybe a little bit more blue or a little bit more pink. There's loads of scope for continuing this